Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
We're filming this today, November 5th at 3:24 p.m. We're talking with Brandon Park. He is our financial officer.
Hello.
All right, cool. So, just as a quick recap for you, because, you just came on board. Oh, by the way, he's my brother, Michael Brennan. So we recently spoke with Tommy about the supply chain issues. Tommy's our forwarder. If you want to catch his video, you could catch it here in the description below. You can catch it in the description below. Before we go forward with you, what I wanted to do is highlight for the viewers like the two biggest issues with the supply chain, all right? So the two things that we covered with him and really highlighted was one, because of this supply chain crisis, the costs of goods are increasing substantially, okay? That's point number one that we covered with them. I'll cover it more in detail here right now. So right now we're in the garment industry, so we're covering garment cost, okay? One of the first component of like the cost of the garment is going to be the FOB price. People call it the FOB price. You could call it whatever you want to, but it's basically the cost of the garment that the factory actually quotes to us. This includes a fabric price, the trim cost, and like basically labor. So that's one cost. So let's say right now we're buying a t-shirt for $10, okay? The next thing that is involved is duty. Let's say we're buying duty is basically the tax.
It's like tariffs.
Yeah, it's like a tariff. It's a tax you pay to the government.
It's the government's cut of whatever.
Yeah, pretty much it's the government vig right now, okay? So basically for like a cotton shirt, the duty is 18% to 20%. So let's put 20% as a round number. So oh shit.
Can you make the font a little bigger, actually?
Yeah, sure. We go to view. We'll go to 70. Oh, no. We'll go to 150%. Okay, cool. So let's say the duty right now, like for example, for like cotton goods is somewhere between 18 to 20%. We'll do a round number for this. And then the next thing is basically freight, okay? Freight right now is basically the way we divide it up is the cost of a container plus like trucking and shipping and all that stuff.
And any document fees.
Any document fees.
Customs.
Yeah, like all of that stuff, etc. right now. That's all included in the freight. And the way we usually separate it out is the freight is like a fixed cost, and we will divide up the freight according to how many pieces of garment X fit into a container. So typically for us right now, let's say 10,000 pieces fit into a container, okay? If 10,000 pieces fit into a container, and let's say the cost of like a container historically was $2,000, okay? So freight in this sense would basically equal, divided by this, would be 20 cents? Yeah, 20 cents, okay, because we're doing 10,000, we're using bullshit numbers, right? So from here, if you were to calculate this, plus this, this times this plus this you get the actual cost of the garment, okay? Pretty easy to understand. Jeff, do you understand what we're doing here?
Yeah.
Okay, we can't ask the viewer. But in a situation like this, for example, right now, currently with the container crisis, the cost of the container 10x'd. So all of a sudden, this $2,000 became $20,000. So as you could see, the container price goes from, or the cost of goods is basically stacking exponentially right now, all right? Now, lucky for us right now for a t-shirt, we're bringing in 10,000 pieces per container. Let's say whatever, like 10,000 pieces per container. We only have to tack on an additional 80 cents to every single garment. But as you can see, if we're shipping TVs, or cabinets, or refrigerators, or cars, God forbid, where you could only fit in a finite amount into a container, you could see like this 10x of freight cost is increasing the cost of goods exponentially. Now, this isn't like what we're talking about right now isn't even considering like inflationary, like the cost of raw materials going up, cotton going up, labor costs going up. It doesn't account for any of that stuff because I mean, to be honest with you, not only did this 10x, so wait, hold on, let's see what we were at. Okay, so like let's say pre-pandemic, we were at 1220, right? Currently, right now, the cost of goods is going up almost 15%. Oh shit. The cost of goods currently right now is going up almost 15%.
I feel like it should be a little bit more, maybe around 20% even in some cases.
Yeah, but we got a good relationship.
That's
so
great,
it's
yeah.
like, yeah. I mean, like, typically for us right now, we're trying to, like, I mean, the cost of goods for sure went up like 10% at least, but I mean, we haven't placed Q2, Q3 yet. So, yeah, it's actually 11%. So let's say we have, this went up 11% and the freight. So all of a sudden now, what you're looking at here is this minus this. Man, I hate Excel on this divided by original cost. You're looking at almost a 30% increase in garment prices. Okay, so this is a situation right now where the container prices working in relationships with everything else together right now is just destroying like the cost of all goods, okay? So this is point number one that we actually discussed with Tommy about how like freight was going up in price. Another thing that is going on right now due to COVID because of all these various shutdowns, and like if you guys really want to, like if the viewer wants to get more details into like this, like how bad this forwarding crisis is, you guys should watch the next video because we go talking about it for hours and hours. But essentially right now, we do a lot of our business out of India. Typically in the past, like pre-pandemic, it took us around 35 days to receive goods out of India. Currently right now, we're looking at anywhere from 70 to 90 days. So basically the transit time actually doubled. So this whole container crisis on the surface level, it's increasing the cost of goods like crazy, and it's taking us twice as long to actually receive the goods once the production is done. Okay, so this is the context right now for which I talked most about with Tommy. I wanted to bring Brandon on today because you control the finances. The delays, okay, the cost of goods is one thing, and we could kind of get into that a little bit more too, but I also want to talk about how the delays is actually affecting like our company in like really in depth in like a financial way. Am I describing this the right way?
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
it's like like how it's affecting the company in the financial way too. And yeah, I thought you'd be the best person to talk about it with. So first things first, right now, what I want to talk about in detail, because I don't really know it very well myself either, is the fact that when we actually place orders with these factories, we do not buy these goods with our own money. Okay, first thing, I think that's the most important place to start in terms of context, okay?
Right.
So typically, whether we're in COVID mode or whether in regular, how do we buy goods?
So basically, whenever we're trying to buy goods from our vendors, we always issue a letter of credit, an LC. So there's a lot of reasons why we do LCs.
What is an LC?
So a letter of credit is basically, it's kind of like a promise from a third party, the bank. It's commonly used when people are doing exports.
Yeah.
The reason why they want it is because, long story short, they don't trust us.
Right. Who's they?
Our vendors, our overseas vendors.
Right. So basically right now, because let's say we were buying a t-shirt for $10,
Yeah.
right? So t-shirt costs $10, right?
Right.
But we want to buy 10,000 pieces, right? So this right now, if we were to do this currently, this would be the total.
Great. Yeah, so in a perfect world, you know, we meet with our vendor and we say, hey, ship us $100,000 worth of goods.
Right.
And, you know, we'll pay you once we get the goods.
Right.
You know, if we have a long-lasting relationship with them, maybe they'll say, yeah, sure, you know, here's $100,000.
Yeah.
But most of the time,
They don't.
they don't know us. And even if we
Right.
decide not to pay, what are
Right.
they going to do? They're going to swim across the ocean and come chase us down. It's very difficult.
So you enter the banks.
So enter the banks, enter letter of credits.
Right.
Basically, they don't give the goods to us. They give it to their bank, and they give it to their bank, gives it to our bank. And so
I see. So, man, I wonder how I could do this. Okay, so let's say, so in a typical scenario, this would be factory and us.
Yes.
That's typically how it would go, right? I wish I knew how to do like an insert arrow sign, but whatever, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, factory, our company. I'll write our company so it's easier, okay? But if we open a letter of credit, basically you're saying it goes from factory to their bank.
Yep.
And then their bank gives it to our bank, and then our bank gives it to our
Us.
company.
Yeah. So
Okay.
when they're paying, we're not
Right.
actually paying the vendor.
Right.
Our bank is paying the vendor.
Right.
And then that's basically, so whenever they ship, it's kind of like, it's almost like an escrow company. It's not quite an escrow company,
Right.
but it's kind of like same process. It's kind of like a third party
Right.
to kind of guarantee that they get paid just in case we decide to say, I don't feel like paying you. You know?
Right.
There's kind of like a guarantee from the bank,
Right.
this letter of credit saying that, hey, you'll get paid.
Right. Okay, I got you. And so that's what a letter of credit is. And so tell us more how it works. And so like, let's say right now I wanted to order this T-shirt and 10,000 pieces, 100, you know what? Let's say 100,000 pieces so the numbers look more legit. Okay, 100,000 pieces, so it's $1 million.
Yes.
This is much more legitimate because it's
Great.
like fucking.
Okay,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
the letter of credit, we have a letter of credit. Basically, everything that we're buying from borrowed money.
Right.
So go ahead on top. You could put $1 million. You could. This is our total amount that our bank promises that they'll lend us.
Right. Oh, this is 100.
So you could put $1 million, and as soon as we open this letter of credit, then our line goes to zero because we borrowed.
Okay, I know what you're saying. And so basically right now, if we were to open a letter of credit, we need to make an agreement with the banks
Yeah.
and basically say, this is our cap.
They give us every year. We meet annually and say, "Hey, this is how much we'd like to borrow from you throughout the whole entire year." And then if they say, your business wasn't that great last year, we gave you $1 million this year. I think this year we're gonna give you $7.25 million. You know?
Right, okay.
And so every single year, depending on how much we sell, the letter of credit, the line, not the letter of credit, line of credit goes up.
So, okay. So cool, hold on. Let me delete this real quick. So everyone understood that, right? Okay. So letter of credit is like the LC. So basically, let's say we have a line of credit. And all right, so then right now, our line of credit is, you know what? Let's make this even easier. Let's say our line of credit is $10 million. Okay? So we have a line of credit of $10 million, and this right here is going to be, oh shit, fuck, I hate apples. I hate Apple Excel. All right, so order number 1, right? You understand what I'm doing here, right? Okay, so this is order number 1, and so now
Yeah, you could copy this over, and then
equals this minus.
so just leave it there, and then. Yeah, okay.
You understand what I'm saying,
So you
right?
could leave the 10 up there, and then you could put a negative 1 million here. That's easier, so you could see how then
okay.
you get all added up instead of having to go back on.
I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you really need a mouse for
I know,
working with.
dude. Fuck
else
this shit.
It's,
You
it's
know
kinda-
what?
It's very difficult.
Yeah,
working with
you know,
TrickPad,
whatever. You know what? They get it.
Accountants
You guys get it. You guys get it.
would
You
blow
guys
their brains
fucking
out,
get it.
you know,
Yeah.
working
No, it's fine. It's not a big deal. All right. Okay, so line of credit, we have $10,000. Okay, so here I'm gonna write order 1 here, and then I'm gonna write minus 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm gonna fucking there you go. All right, cool.
Okay.
So basically, we ordered we did order number 1. When can you open this LC?
So, depending on the expiration, the LC always has an expiration date. I think it depends on your relationship with the bank, but with our bank, we typically have 120-day terms, which is 4 months.
Okay, hold up. So we're gonna insert this. Okay, so all letter of credits has an expiration date.
Yeah, depending on your relationship with the bank, it might
And
be.
this is negotiable. All right. So, okay, so I gotta ask then right now. So the expiration date, and so basically it's, if we do open this letter of credit, so let's say we issue this order,
Yeah.
right? We issue this order and we open this LC. Why do they need an expiration date?
Well, long story short, it's kind of like expiration date for anything. You know, it's like that means basically once it expires,
Yeah.
we have the right to cancel it.
Oh, does the bank have the right to cancel it?
No, I mean, or they, I think, yeah, the bank has. We basically have an agreement with the bank saying, hey, after 120 days, then if this doesn't get fulfilled in that day, then this goes back in. That goes back into our line. So basically, if it never expires, then that means we would never. If all of a sudden our vendor decides they don't want to, or they're really late with their delivery,
Yeah.
then that means we'll never get this money back to be able to buy.
Yeah, right. I see.
So if you put no terms date,
Yeah.
then
Yeah, I see what
we
you're
never
saying.
get our line of credit back. you know?
I see. Okay, and so like 120 days is almost like a fail-safe. So it's basically after 4 months, it's just gonna expire.
It doesn't always expire
Yeah.
like that. It depends on we have the right to expire
After 120 days. Okay, so basically after 120 days, we could cancel whenever the fuck we want.
Something like that.
But
yeah.
then before the 120 days, we can't cancel?
No.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so it's not an
Unless, or I mean, of course you could,
Yeah.
but you would need. It wouldn't just be one side.
Right.
You need to put
Both
in
parties.
you put an application
Yeah.
to cancel it, and then the other side would have to agree to cancel it.
Right.
And then that back and
Okay,
forth needs to
okay,
be done.
cool. So here's what I know. Typically for us, whenever we're working with Bangladesh right now, and you know what? I should have fucking went over this too. Like when I was kind of talking about how it's how there's this whole issue with like the lead times, because right now when I talk about how the transit is doubling right now for people, this is happening globally around the world. Anytime a cargo ship is used with a vessel, that's when lead time is doubling. So typically for us, let's say Bangladesh production, right? Typically for us, Bangladesh production is 4 months. Okay, so the first month is 4 months. Okay, first month is basically submit like fabric, fit, color approvals. Okay, approvals. So basically, the first month it's when they it's basically just approving all the stuff. Like they send you swatches, they send you colors, you make sure that it looks good, you do all that stuff, and it's all copacetic. Okay. Second month is fabric, trim, making. Okay. So this is basically the time it takes for them to actually make the fabric, to make all the trim. It usually takes
also comes with the buying of the fabric.
right.
So
So this is kind of why I want to go over this, and then you could kind of
Yeah,
talk about like
gotcha.
why the LC is like 120 days. Yeah, I should have covered this right beforehand. Fuck. Oh, I hate this, man. All right, insert. Okay, cool. Jeff, are you following all this? Does this make sense to you right now?
I mean, you're going on like why.
This is the production cycle, yeah. So basically, when I place an order, it typically takes 4 months out of Bangladesh, and every single country is different. But Bangladesh is 4 months because of this. Third month for Bangladesh is fabric shipping. You want to know why? Bangladesh does not make their own fabric. Bangladesh makes the fabric from China, and typically a boat that goes from China to Bangladesh, it's about a month. Okay, that's the lead.
Now it's taking
So fabric shipping, this is literally transit from China to Bangladesh. Now, here's the thing. If let's say they were buying fabric from Pakistan, it only takes 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks. Okay, if they were buying fabric from XYZ, it takes a certain amount of time. From China, it takes about 6 weeks. Okay, like that's typically what their schedule is. Okay,
Just because it's much closer. Pakistan.
Right.
Oh, that.
Yeah. Put a map on here. Yeah. So you can see it. Fourth month, this is production, which is cutting, sewing, finishing, QC, quality control. Okay, yada. So typically for us, production lead time out of Bangladesh is 120 days, and then we ship. Shipping, I said typically is 35 days. Hold on, let me put a insert here. This is actually pretty like cute little chart that we're making here. Typically 35 days. This was back in 2019. In 2020, right now, we are looking at 70 to 90 days. 2020, okay? So here you go, fabric shipping. Transit, China to Bangladesh, okay? This was, okay. I'm gonna call it shipping, fabric shipping, or fabric / trim shipping, right? And then I'm gonna write here, 2019, China to Bangladesh was 6 weeks, 6 times 42 days. 2021, I'll say 2021. China to Bangladesh is, I don't know. Let's say like 9 weeks. 9 times 7 equals 63 days. Okay. So now you can kind of see where the holes are right now in this is because we're adding 3 weeks here and we're adding almost another month here. So you could kind of see how production lead time now, in the past it used to be 4-month production. Now you're looking at almost 5-6 months without breaking a sweat. That's pretty much what's going on right now. Okay, so anyways, let's go back to what you're talking about right now for the letter of credit.
All right, so at a certain point of this, you could put right next to here, you could go ahead and put LC, maybe
Right here.
Yeah, once they have to buy.
Right. So so here's the thing. I mean, honestly, LC goes here.
Okay, so LC.
Yeah.
So
Let me put it like really close so it looks
all
big.
right, so the LC.
So why do we have to open the LC here?
So the LC, they need to open it there because the factory, they're not creating their own fabric. They have to import it.
Right.
So basically, they go to their factories, or the factories, they have letter credit from us, and then they open up another letter credit to
let's
their
let's
fabric
actually
mill.
make this more clear. Okay, so typically for me, I have a policy in this company. We do not work directly with factories. We always work directly with agents or trading companies. Here's the definition between one versus the other and why I do this. Okay, I typically work with agents or trading companies. They're basically people like me over there who understand manufacturing at a very, very high level, and they're the ones who coordinate on behalf of BJD with various factories. Okay, and what I mean by various factories is there's fabric mills. Those are separate factories. There are dyeing houses. Those are separate factories. There's cutting factories. There's sewing factories and finishing factories. There's a lot of different factories out there, and there's factories that do everything from A to Z. I do not like working directly with factories. I like working through agents and trading companies. And the reason why I prefer working with them is because I can't go to Bangladesh myself. And so if I sign an agreement with these agents or trading factories, they will work on my behalf with these factories to basically run the show and run the production and bring it in. And it's just less work for me. And I know they make a little bit more on the side and they take a cut of whatever I do. And I understand it's more
almost
expensive.
like a third-party quality
It's an
control.
insurance almost.
Yeah.
It's almost insurance.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is. Because if you work directly with the factory, I mean, it could be risky because factories have their own agenda. And honestly, this isn't a very profitable business. And so it's like, yeah, I mean, it's just safer to work through somebody else because factories are always dishonest. Always. But anyways, why do we have to open this LC to like, let's say our agent?
We open it to our agent, and then the agent transfers it over to the other. We call it beneficiary. So they need to book the fabric. So they need a guarantee that they're going to get paid prior to the fabric people releasing the fabric to them.
Right.
You know, it kind of shows that, oh, hey, these guys promised they're going to pay me, so I have a promise that I can pay you. So
Right.
it's kind of like the money is just kind of passing hands.
Right.
It's going from the bank to us. So the bank guarantees it to you can put like an arrow. The bank guarantees it to.
Okay, so let's say we place the order, and then it goes from our bank
to
their bank.
their bank.
And then from their bank to Fabric Mills Bank.
Yeah, so it gets transferred over.
Right.
So then they know that, oh, we have this letter of credit from BJD.
Right.
We know that they're gonna get paid.
Right.
So they know that at least or our agent
Yeah.
promises them that, hey, I have this LC.
Right.
Send me the fabric. You're gonna get paid.
Right.
You know. So.
Well, I mean, on top of that too is this: the factories that we're working with, they have no money.
yeah.
They have no money. They need our money so they could buy the yarn. This is the reason why we have to open the LC here most of the time. Is because usually if they ask us to open an LC in order to buy the fabric, that basically means they don't have money of their own. They cannot front their own money, so they need the guarantee of our money so they could go and buy the actual yarn and buy the actual
It's
fabric.
more of a promise.
Yes,
You know, in case that it's-
right.
The money, no money gets actually exchanged at this point.
Right, of
It's
course.
just a promise.
Right,
You know.
exactly. You have it. It's a ledger. It's like
Yeah,
crypto.
it's kind of
well,
kind of like
this
a
is
bond.
kind of what
It's like,
crypto's going to kill someday.
Yeah, so it's kind of like,
Right.
oh, hey, this is
Yeah.
it's a promise.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
basically, so as soon as this month, second month in production,
So here we open
yeah,
this.
we open this, and then you know, this as soon as we open this LC, then this negative 1 million gets booked up.
Right.
However, there's two reasons why this whole container situation has messed it all up. One, we have to book it extra. We have to take up our line of credit extra early, and two,
Why do you have to take it up extra early? Well, what do you mean by extra early? When does this disappear? I think we need to cover that first before we kind of talk about why.
It disappears once we actually pay it off.
Right. So basically, once they ship.
So no, I mean once this ships, we still have to pay this back to our bank.
Right. Right.
So it's not exactly like, oh, you get more money once this production is complete.
Right. So basically, once we pay it off, that's when this kind of goes away, right?
Yeah, once we pay it off. But once we get the goods, once we could only pay this off once we actually ship to our customers.
Right.
So it's, if you could go and we could put like month one, I think January, February, I think if we could.
We should start there.
Yeah,
Okay.
we could just put the months across.
Yeah,
You know?
so let's say January, February, March. You know what? Let's see if.
I think I'll probably do it. On
Yes. You know what I need to do? Now I need to do this, and I'm going to zoom out. Where's view? View. 110. All right, cool.
All right, so let's say we open the LC in January.
So order number 1.
Or you could just put negative 100. Just put negative 1 million there.
Yeah. Ha. Okay.
Great. And then at this point, this is, on the second month, we still need.
So I like to note this. 120 days is 4 months. 1, 2, 3, 4 months. That's typically why we have the 120-day term. That's what we should actually highlight for people right here. This is the 120-day term. That's why we have 120 days. Okay.
So
why don't you continue?
So once we open this, then it ships 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe it's shipping around April, right?
Ship. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to write order number 1 here. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Cool.
Order ships here, and then it takes maybe 1, 2, 3 months here.
Well, I mean,
Let's say in the worst case scenario, we receive it in July once it ships, even though we open the LC.
and we're basically doing right now COVID scenario, right? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
See, and then
Well, here's the thing, Brandon. If we're talking COVID scenario, I need to add another month here because
No,
because the China fabric.
okay, sure.
No, I'm actually telling you this is actually the truth.
Well,
Yeah. So it's actually a lot fucking worse, more worse than this. It's actually this because here's the thing. There's a +1 here due to fabric delays. All right, and oh my god, because I did the plus. Fuck. All right, whatever. All right, 1 extra month, 1 plus month due to fabric delays. But on top of this, let me throw in another wrinkle here. Jeff, maybe you could look this up. Maybe I could look it up right now too. You know what? I'll show you why it's actually even worse than this. Shit, come on. All right. I'll show you what's worse than this, all right? I'm gonna go to Google. Yeah, so I do this shit all the time here.
So there's a lot of kind of dead space in between your conversation.
No, there isn't a lot of dead space. Usually the internet's actually better than
Yeah, actually, for some reason, this room just doesn't get Wi-Fi, opposed to.
No. The internet's actually worked pretty well for us in the past.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I always my Wi-Fi always.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it?
it's awful. Yeah, fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? All right, fuck this. Yeah, because there's so much dead
Either
time.
way, this is still.
Jeff, look this up right now. No, I actually want to say this. You think this is only +1 month, right? However, I will also say this. About a month ago, started about 2 months ago, China, due to their economic crisis right now, they're having rolling blackouts. So China fabric mills are actually only working 3 days a week. Okay, because of the whole economic crisis, because of the coal shortage, because of the cotton shortage, because of climate change, because of all the other XYZ right now, it's actually taking fabric mills twice as long to make their usual capacity of fabric. Okay, so add that on top of this fabric delay due to the shipping crisis. Okay, add that to this, and so it's actually right now, like what they're quoting us, it's like 7-8 months production right now out of Bangladesh without breaking a sweat. Okay, like that's the actual real scenario, but let's pretend that that doesn't exist, and let's just
All
go
right.
right here.
So-
Okay, yeah.
In the end, once it ships, it's taking 6 months to receive it.
Receive.
So
we
let's
pay
say
here.
let's say in the perfect scenario, we have orders across everything, which we don't always have. We're a stock business. We bring it in and we sell it off as we go, whether it's
Right.
1 month, 2 months, 3 months,
Right.
however long. Let's say our merchandise is fire and they want to book it right away. So once they book it, as soon as we receive it, we ship
Hold
it
on,
out.
If you guys want to know what Brand is talking about, how we're a stock business and we don't receive orders until we actually get the books, check out the description below. All right. Cool.
That's great. So we receive it, we ship it out.
Well, let's say we
receive
ship it early September.
Early September. Okay.
Yeah. That's a
Great.
okay. So yeah,
We ship all the goods.
ship to buyer.
So our buyer, they don't give us money right away.
They're net 60.
If we have a good relationship with them, some buyers will do 90 days. Some people will do 120 days. Some people, it's variable depending on your relationship with the buyer.
What's typically average for us?
I think 60 day. We had 60-day terms, 60 to 90-day terms.
Right. So if we ship
but
here, then they'll
it changes frequently.
buyer pays in December basically for
Yeah.
60 days, right? Okay.
So buyer pays, and then we get to pay this off.
I see.
And not only that, we can't pay it takes a year to kind of pay off the loan. And there's only two ways we negotiate with the bank. And, in the perfect scenario, this should be pushed up maybe 3 months, We would be getting the money 3 to 4 months ahead of time from our buyers once it ships.
Right.
Because not only that, the buyers, sometimes they did 30-day terms, and when business is great for them. But the buyers are struggling too. So
Right.
they're not paying. Sometimes we're lucky to get 60-day terms, and sometimes we don't get 60-day terms.
Right.
Sometimes the buyers, they don't send in. Even though we have 60-day terms,
Yeah.
people don't pay on time always.
yeah.
So even though it's 60, sometimes it goes to 90. Even
Yeah.
if it's 90, sometimes it goes to 120.
Right.
So basically, from when we actually borrow the money from our bank,
Yeah.
we can't pay it off until like a year later.
Yikes. So you know what? Let's do this right now. So order 2 minus. I kind of want to build this out right now too, because you did a really good job at explaining right now like how this whole system works. Why are we fucked?
Why are you fucked? Well,
Yeah.
like I said,
So I kind of want to build this out right now because right now we kind of did this whole talk right now about like how this whole system works, okay? And so basically for us right now, because we're not playing around with our own money and we're playing with the banks right now, we're able to order mass amounts of volume and everything. And these are basically the rules of games that we laid out right now, okay? Now we are in a supply chain crisis. And so ideally for order 1, so this is order 1, let's say for 2020 onwards, okay? I want to show order number 1 from pre-pandemic or pre-supply chain crisis, okay? So typically, if we shipped here, what the fuck? Oh yeah, okay. Ah, man, Excel's just such a fucking burn, dude.
you should just write.
Okay.
It's probably easier.
Okay, so here. So we go here, right? We issue the PO 1, 2, 3.
So to ship then.
So it ships here, right? We ship here. Oh yeah, because we only added a month. And then it's actually, we receive it here. Receive it here. Yeah, receive it here. We ship here. And then buyer pays here, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you really want to exaggerate, then in better times, the buyer pays faster.
The buyer pays. Oh,
So
that's
we could
actually
push-
true.
push it up, so-
okay, so yeah, so actually buyer pays here.
So once this buyer pays,
Mm-hmm.
then we get to pay back this
Right.
basically $1 million in this scenario.
Right.
And then our loan balance goes back to 10.
Back-
So
fuck me. We should have talked about this earlier because I wanted to build out a scenario here on this whole page where it kind of shows like how things are getting crunched. But I mean, essentially right now.
yeah, I could show you right now. I mean,
Okay.
you could just
cool.
say,
Yeah. So let's say order 2 right now. We have another order 2 going in right now, right? That's another.
So you could just write here.
Let's say we place order 2 here.
Just put, for math's sake, let's just put $3 million here. Or let's just put four.
How much do you want?
Let's put 4.5, 4.5.
Okay, so let's say 4.5 million here, and then let's say 6 here. Okay, so 6. Wait, t-shirt. No. Sorry. All right, so I want to say it's $45 here, right? And this is $60 here. Okay. So now this becomes 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this becomes 4, 5. Okay, so here.
I mean, you just make the budget $10.5 million. It's not a big deal.
I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. So say we use our entire line of credit, so.
Oh, we used our entire.
Yeah, just put 10.5 million.
So equals this minus, this plus. Right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we're at 0.
So we're at 0. So 6 million, we book it all up, and then let's say January is for, what is it, the August receiving, right? And then let's say for this one, like the very next month, go ahead and put the $4.5 million that you booked up, minus $4.5 million. And let's say everything's the same, then we receive it in September.
So everything's the same as this one right here, right?
The top one.
Wait, hold on. So this goes here. Okay.
Okay, so by this time, it's all, and then you could put January at the very end here.
Oh, you want to put January here?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then I'll move this over here to here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
Okay,
buyer
cool.
pays, and then you could even, I don't know if let's move this the second one to the second scenario. Like let's move it down here a little bit, and then just cut it, and then move this up.
Okay.
All right. So basically, once this is all booked up, we'll be able to technically order again and open more LCs in January.
Right.
But since we're a stock business, we need to
keep order. We need to order every month.
We need to be like, we're receiving, let's say for Q4 right here.
Right.
We need to have goods to come in January, February.
This is great. Yeah. So here's the typical scenario right here. Okay, this is actually great. So this is the cutoff for the year. All right. So let me put the right border here. The way BJD works right now is we buy quarterly. We buy every 3 months. Okay. So this is actually cool. I think I can make this work. So here, I actually want to buy this in April. This will be better. You get what I'm saying? This actually makes more sense. So we go here. Fuck this line. I don't know why I drew this line. Ugh, so dumb. All right, no border. All right. So January, February, March. Okay. So we keep going down here. We place it again here, and I'm gonna create an order number 2 here as well. So I'll do here. Place that here, and then place it here. Okay, this is better. You know what? Maybe I should do 5 million for here. I think we exaggerated this a little too much. Okay, cool. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so here's the scenario right now. Order number 2. Okay. You understand what I'm doing here, right? Sort of?
Yeah, so we get the payment 3 months ahead of time.
Yeah, so here typically, like because of this pandemic, because of all these things, shipped to the buyer here, we get the payment, buyer pays here. We receive 5 million here. We get cashed out here, and we get cashed out here. What the fuck? Is that command? Is it command on? Yeah, there you go. So in pre-pandemic times, this is when when we'll typically get cashed out. Okay, but pre-pandemic, we got cashed out almost months earlier.
Right.
Right, because what's going to happen here is I bought here, I buy in April, and I need to buy again for July. Okay, so that's typically how it works for us right now. And then by the time Q4 comes around, we're already receiving payments. And so basically right now, we have a line of credit limit for 3 quarters. Does this make sense to you? Yeah, okay, cool. We have a line of credit limit for basically 3 quarters, but in actuality, right now, it's like we're basically maxing out our credit with like just like 2 quarters right now of payments because of all these delays. Is that fair to say?
It's basically like, so once, I mean, we'll be able, in a normal course of business cycle, once we receive the goods in August,
Yeah, so once we receive here,
the buyer pays, and then,
Yeah.
or like the buyer pays here.
Yeah.
So right around the time when the buyer pays.
Yeah, well, so when we receive typically, we're receiving 2 months earlier, first off.
Right, we'd be getting payment around September, which is around the time when we would have to begin opening LCs for the next quarter.
Right.
But, right now we're up here and, we haven't received any of the goods yet.
Yeah.
And we have to start placing orders and we have to start opening LCs, or in a few months from here, we have to start opening LCs for Q3. And the bank says, hey, you ready to use this up?
Yeah.
You haven't even received it yet.
Yeah.
How do we know we're going to sell it? And they're basically saying, no,
Right.
we're not going to give you more money. So then the conversation goes with the bank, like, hey, can we turn this 10.5 million to 15 million or something like that?
Can we increase our limit?
And then they're saying, no. Or they say, hey,
Yeah.
What about
but
extending the days? You guys ever
The 120 days.
so the 120 days, that doesn't really matter that much whether you extend it, because as soon as from day one, it's booked in your loan. I mean, we could
120 days is basically for us, because after 120 days, that means we could be like, fuck you.
Of course, there is a conversation once. Of course, as soon as this ends, as soon as we pay the vendor, once we receive it, first of all, just something that we should know too. Once we receive it, or once they ship it, then the payment actually goes out.
Right.
So this payment, basically, we have 4 to 5 months to pay back to the bank as well.
Right.
And then, so if you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, once they ship it, then then we have to.
Yeah.
We basically, around this time, we have to pay back to
Right.
when the money's not even coming in.
Right.
So one, we either take
Right.
out a loan, or we got to have cash reserves available to
Right.
pay off.
Right, because because at this point right now, it's like, because of all these delays right now, it's just like
So whether we extend it to 150 days, this loan it's basically we owe the bank as soon as it turns to day one.
Right.
So whether you do it doesn't really matter that much. It would just
Right.
it would just give our vendors a bigger favor. That's pretty
Right.
much what it is. you know?
Right. Yeah.
And so, by the time, so we're basically stuck. We don't have enough money to buy for Q3 or 4 then.
Right.
Unless we extend the limit.
Right, and we don't have $1 million laying
And
around that to actually like pay. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's why the bank's like, oh, okay, like
Yeah.
too bad,
Right. So because of this right now, it's I feel like, I mean, other companies got to be experiencing this kind of strain as well, right? Like I'm like, I don't know what Q3 is going to look like next year.
I feel like
I don't see how this, like, do you see do you see the supply increasing in Q3? No fucking way, right? What do you think?
You're not gonna increase it, but then you gotta just go by day. Of course there's only one order, so we actually have a lot of orders.
Yeah.
And so you gotta see it whenever we
Yeah,
receive.
I mean, we're playing around with hundreds of orders right now.
Yeah, so as soon as we get payment from our buyers, then we have to just once we get some cash in, then we could open another LC.
Right.
And
so
or
we just kinda
we could
gotta go
have
like that one at a
conversations
time.
with our vendors to not open LC, to just trust us.
Yeah.
Because right now for the LC, it books up the loan as soon as we open the LC.
Right.
So that's done maybe 4 months ahead of advance.
Right.
But if we just do normal terms where they ship it to us and we pay them directly, then the loan is only booked up as soon as we pay it.
Right.
I
understand what you're saying.
So basically, if we open an LC for them, we have to do it within
Right.
know.
And
But
LCs mostly just acts as insurance at this point,
it's
right?
a guarantee.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because if they ship it to us and
Yeah.
we're having a bad day and, you know, we just don't like them, then we
Yeah.
just technically don't have to pay without.
Right,
I
right.
mean, we have to pay.
Yeah, I mean, ethically we
Ethically,
got to pay, but
but-
if we don't pay, there's no repercussions.
or-
right? Unless there's an LC open.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
The money doesn't go out. We would pay them directly.
Right.
But in this case, the bank's paying them and we have to pay back the bank.
Right.
So we're getting creative with this. Right now, for Bangladesh, you know, we have to open these LCs right away. But you know, we have long-term relationships with our India and China suppliers. So with our India and China suppliers, we're like, hey, we've been in bed together for 10 years now.
Right.
Let me open the LC right before you ship it.
Right.
And that's what that's the conversations we're having
Right.
with to kind of, just to extend it out. Eventually we're going to get the money back to pay it. But
Right.
if the bank is preventing us to open any more LCs during this time,
Right.
when
Yeah.
we haven't had any of the payments come in and
Right.
we need to prepare for what we're receiving in January,
Right.
then,
Right.
we're in a tough situation.
Right. Man. So, I mean, at this point right now, like, do you think, at this point, I think the best way to help out our situation right now is if the containers start coming in on time, right?
Yeah, if it speeds
That's probably
up,
the best way,
if
right?
it speeds up, then this whole process of getting the money exchanged from one hand to the other just speeds it all up, and we can pay
Right.
it back faster. And
Right.
then once you pay it back faster, then you can
Right.
open up
You know,
more room for buying.
now that we're talking about this right now too, it's like, I honestly feel like come July next year, no one's gonna have shit. The stores are gonna be empty.
They might not, and
That's kind of what I'm feeling right now.
I mean, they'll have goods maybe in April. Maybe I'm more concerned about what they're going to have in maybe October, September. You know?
Right.
Because if everyone's hands are tied with everything that's supposed to come in, unless that or they have to get creative and they have to put their houses as collateral, or they have
I'm
to
not
find
gonna do that
they have to find
Yeah.
outside investors.
Right.
They borrow from this bank, then they have to borrow another from another bank,
Right,
and
right.
then it just becomes a domino of just debt that
Horrible
you have to
decisions,
pay back.
yeah, right.
But in certain desperate circumstances, sometimes you got to do that.
Yeah.
Or you have to pay a lot of interest.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other things that are affecting along the way. Every single time you open an LC, there's bank fees.
Yeah, right.
So typically we try to open one LC for maybe a block of orders, but
Mm-hmm.
then if we have to open it every individual case by case, then
Are
the
bank fees percentage based or?
so there's like a fixed amount.
Uh-huh.
There's a fixed amount, like I think it's like $150, and then it's kind of grows. It scales depending on how much is in that.
How much money?
Yeah, and then the terms that we have with this, the LC fees every time it extends 120. If it goes to it for some reason. It's after if it goes 120 days, like let's say it goes 121 days, then you have to pay the fee again. The entire amount.
For every day?
No, for another, you're basically saying another 120-day term,
Uh-huh.
you have to pay the same fee over again.
I see. So the longer
So-
it's open, we pay
Yeah.
more money too. So basically it's just like this whole delay right now is just fucking us
it's
sideways.
everything is,
God damn.
that's how the bank makes their money too.
Yeah,
so,
right,
They're
right.
not going to say,
Yeah, right. No, they're gonna
They
say
can collect
yeah.
fees.
Yeah.
They're gonna-
If they're gonna
they're
collect
gonna
fees,
charge
they're
them.
gonna collect
Yeah.
fees. Yeah, right.
yeah, so extra LC fees, extra documentation fees.
Yeah.
Takes longer to the money from the buyers to actually get into our pockets to pay back whatever loans.
Right.
And,
Yeah, so I mean basically this whole pandemic right now, it's just our operational expenses are just kind of going through the roof then I'm guessing,
yeah,
right?
everything's
Because
increasing.
because we're talking about like honestly, we have a lot of LCs open right now.
A lot of LCs, and
Yeah.
also the worst part of when it's booked up is if we have a issue with this vendor.
Yeah.
They giving bad product. We can't always just cancel it. So
Right.
that means they're eating up this budget.
You're right.
Even though they might not ship the goods.
Right.
Or until the LC expires.
Right.
Then-
So basically, it's just like as long as this LC is open for this one order, it's preventing us from. There's opportunity cost for it as well. Basically, it's just
yeah.
like because we can't
Yeah,
open
there's
any more orders.
there's a fixed budget in terms of how much we could actually buy.
Right.
And the container situation is messing up everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. So I mean, I was talking to Tommy about this, and he said he thinks everything's gonna be fixed by June.
I hope so.
Yeah. Do you see it getting better right now, or is it getting worse, or can you not tell?
It's really strange because even if they ship on time, even if it gets to the port, getting it from the port to here is taking longer too.
Is it getting longer?
Yeah, because there's not enough local truckers. You know, maybe it has to do with maybe they don't want to.
I think that's going to be the next thing, because I feel like right now, I think the vessel situation is going to correct soon.
Yeah, it's going to get better.
I think it's going to correct soon, but then if there's not enough truckers, then
yeah, getting it from the port to like we received a container today, literally this morning, that was at the port on 9/11.
yeah,
You know, and then sometimes, you know, randomly the port, they say they put it to a closed off area, and once it's in the closed off area, it's like, you know, 2 weeks becomes 2 months.
Right.
It's getting it from the port to here, so that's another thing, you know. And so like, yeah, that's another thing, you know. If we never gets here, then we can't ship it to our buyers,
Right.
and we can't pay off our loan then, you know.
Right.
So then you have to reach into your own pockets or borrow more money to pay that off. So
You think it's worth hiring truckers?
worth hiring truckers?
Well, there's just a trucker shortage though.
Yeah, it's
No, I know. Yeah.
worth
So, I
hiring.
mean, like, if they can't hire, then it's
Yeah.
hard for you.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the thing. It's just like,
I mean, it's you gotta have payroll. You know, you have
Yeah.
to pay the trucker, and then you have to actually buy the truck and gas and everything.
yeah, it's just fuck that. Yeah.
You know, sometimes you have to do 3 to 4 containers in a day. You know, they
Yeah.
can't do that all. You can't.
Yeah.
You'd have to hire a squad. You know?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like it's so much overhead.
yeah. It's
You know,
just
you're
too
basically
much,
eating
yeah.
into all the profits that you kind of.
Yeah,
you know?
pretty
So-
much. Yeah. Because it's like, you know, that's actually starting to stress me out right now too. Is like even with like the trucking situation. So like
Yeah, like I think the truckers are the next.
Yeah.
That's even if the port situation's fixed, that doesn't guarantee that it's going to get
Right.
faster from getting to the port here.
Right.
If anything, the port is going to have all of a sudden an influx of containers.
Right.
And then there's not enough people to
right.
actually unload all the containers.
Yeah, it's like moving it out. Yeah, moving it
You know,
out right
once
now.
whatever's
like,
gridlocked, then it's like then it's just going to sit at the port. So
it's so stupid. And you know what? Like the crazy thing is, I literally remember this conversation, like pre-pandemic from like 2018 to 2019. Learn to code. Do you remember Learn to Code? Have you ever heard that whole thing? Learn to Code. Oh, it was like, man. I hope it. Why isn't internet working right now? I need.
is it like people who are trying to get away from just normal labor jobs, or is it?
It was.
Oh, it's like Clinton, right?
No. Learn to Code was this whole like fucking like thing. It was like it was like a bunch of like millennials fucking trolling all these like essential workers like truckers and like people like this. Well, because like
Manufacturing jobs.
yeah, like or like all the not like just like logistics, like just like trucking and forwarding and all these things, like because like everyone was talking about how trucking was gonna get automated by Amazon and like Tesla and like Uber, and all these guys were working on automation, and all these truckers were worried about losing their jobs, and some fucking asshole was like, just learn to code, bro. And it became this, like, look it up and put it up on here. We don't have internet. But it became this whole thing, and like literally people are like, what the fuck is wrong with millennials? You know, it's like, you can't just like change this whole thing.
I mean, that's...
Like, trucking used to be a dying industry pre-pandemic, and now it's just like kind of, now all of a sudden the rest of the world's like all of a sudden like,
labor work, manufacturing, I feel like
Do you think manufacturing is gonna come back to America?
it has to, you know?
Who's gonna do it? No one even wants to be a trucker.
But that's the thing, you know?
You think you're gonna want to work in a factory? I'd rather
reason-
drive trucks than work in a factory.
I believe that manufacturing had such sudden death because, first of all, the work is hard. It's very difficult. And
Long hours.
And long hours. There's no days off. You can't work remotely. And it's you don't get paid enough.
Yeah.
You know, that's the bottom line.
Well,
you
so
know?
here's the
A
thing.
lot of going overseas too.
Well, I mean, it all went overseas. First off, I think there's a number of reasons why manufacturing died here, okay? Well, let's actually get into this right now. This is actually really interesting. One, the pay sucks,
Yeah.
okay? But even the reason why, like, typically if the pay sucks, you would just pay the person more and there would be a balancing effect, right? But the problem is American consumers too. Nobody wants to pay $30 for a t-shirt, okay? But if you're gonna pay all these factory workers and sewers right now, there's a certain fixed amount. There's a labor. Like, you know, American factories, they're trying all sorts of shit to basically keep the factories running and incentivize the workers to come in. Like a lot of the workers right now, especially in LA, they're getting paid on a commission basis. The more you sew, the more productive you are, the more you get paid. You get paid almost per garment at this point in America here, in LA, okay? So they're trying to speed everything up all day long, but still, right now when I was making a t-shirt for Carhartt, I'm not gonna tell you exactly what the prices were right now, but I'm gonna tell you this right now. It's like, if you were selling the goods for $29.99, you're barely making Keystone. Keystone is like 50% margins. Okay, it's like the cost of making shit here is just so expensive because everybody wants so much money. Yeah. You get what I mean? And on top of that too, like the labor laws in America is pretty tight, so nobody's working long hours and nobody's working every single day. But because people aren't willing to work the overtime and people aren't willing to do all that stuff too, is this our capacity, our volume is super small.
Yeah, I
mean,
it's tough. Things are more expensive, but at least the time it takes.
It's a hard job.
I don't know. I think if
on top of that, all the regulations too, like all the fire regulations and everything like that. You get what I mean? It's like how many machines can you really have in a certain space?
That's true.
You know, it's like all of this stuff right now. It's like you can't keep up with China. You can't keep up.
For safety purposes, you know, and to prevent lawsuits and everything like that. You know, they need decreases productivity. You know, it definitely decreases productivity, and it's more expensive for the businesses, and so the businesses need to charge more.
And not
for
only that,
everything.
it's like people are acting like factory owners make bank. They don't make money. Like what kind of margins do you think factories work on right now? You know, it's like you think our margins are tight.
There's no reason why anyone would want to get into manufacturing.
And on top of that too is like. Think of how shit of a job farmers are. But farmers are government subsidized. The government supports farming here. Yeah. The government supports agriculture in America. The government does not support garment making in America.
Only way that
they subsidize cotton, but
only way they're going to get manufacturing back in is if the U.S. incentivizes it. You know.
Yeah.
Right now, there's no incentive. There's not enough pay. Right. The work hours suck.
Yeah.
You know, it's
the U.S. has got to subsidize manufacturing, and on top of that, or you got to be willing to pay $60 for a T-shirt. Yeah. No, like seriously.
Yeah, that's true.
The consumer has to be willing to put up the money right now. Okay.
Yeah.
All made in America denim right now costs $175.
Yeah.
Literally, you go out there, it's $175 to $100. We looked it up, remember? And look at that thing. Yeah, the jeans. Made in USA jeans cost $175 to $195 without breaking a sweat. You get what I mean? Like that's what it is, and that's the situation. It's either the consumer pays more, or the government steps in and subsidizes manufacturing. But then that means you're just artificially lifting up the industry. You know, it's not there's no real money in it. You know, and I think that's the biggest problem too. But anyways, that's besides the point. You have anything more to add to this?
No.
We went an hour. We have 57 minutes.
57? That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. Okay, so quick recap. Because the production lead time is basically increasing by 3+ months, because of that, it's preventing us to open new LCs at a quarterly rate.
Bottom line is, all this money is going out, and it's just not coming in. The money that we need to get from our buyers to pay off everything is not coming in on time.
Right.
Not in time for when we need to start opening the next round of LCs.
Right. Yeah. And so because of that, things are closed off. We are really struggling to buy for Q3 of next year. And basically our plan going forward is whatever comes in, we'll pay it off immediately. And basically we're just gonna open LCs on
a case by case basis. We don't have the luxury of just opening all the LCs at once now.
Right.
When we get payment from our buyers, then we'll go ahead and open more.
We'll open
and then maybe hopefully next year, then we can negotiate a larger line with the bank. You know, depending on But in the end,
I think I don't want to negotiate. I mean, maybe a larger line would be nice.
We have to negotiate a larger line. You know, we don't have to spend it all, but we need that ability to.
Right.
But at the same time, it's going to be hard to negotiate a larger line if none of our product comes in for Q3 and our sales are affected. Everything in the end is based on sales.
Yes. If we sell more, the banks are going to be like, okay, these people need more money.
Yeah. So bottom line, we borrow a bunch of money, but we can't pay it back. It's taking 4 more months to pay it back than it does a normal course of action. Normal business.
I mean, now this trucking situation's busy. But
we'll get through it.
I mean, I just think as long as the vessel prices go down, I'd just be happy with that. Because right now it's just not only is it taking long, it's just so fucking expensive. I think it's the fact that it's both of them together that's just really stressing me out. So yeah. All right, cool. Anything more to add?
That's it.
You're good? Great. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for having me.